What is up, Pitchsiders? I'm your host, the HOD of the PSP, and welcome back to another episode of the Pitchside Podcast, episode 66 here on the show. Follow us on social media. I'm at PSP on Twitter, Pitchside Pod on Instagram. You can listen to this on Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you can get it from. And of course, like, share, comment on the YouTube version, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Enable notifications to receive all the updates from these podcast episodes and other content on the channel. Let's start with some news, and oh boy, are there a lot of news to get into in this episode, but let's start, unfortunately, on some somber note. We start, of course, with Jurgen Klopp's mother, Elizabeth, which died at the age of 81 yesterday because of COVID-19 effects. It was probably the saddest news in the world of football. Of course, rest in peace to her. Klopp, obviously, he couldn't travel to Germany to attend the funeral because of the pandemic-related travel restrictions, and certainly he wanted to organize a funeral that is, appropriate to her place in his heart, and he was so emotional, as you'd expect, about it. Of course, thoughts and prayers with him, with his family, and with his friends as well. Continuing on the sober note as well, Cassia Lenhardt, the ex-girlfriend of Jerome Boateng, the Bayern Munich defender, was found dead in the Berlin apartment just a week after they split up at 25 years of age. She had a son from previous relationship, has been going on with the Bayern defender for 15 months before the pair split on February 2nd amid a vicious fight that saw the couple use social media and the press to exchange blows. Boateng had accused her of sabotaging his relationship with his ex-girlfriend and his family. He has twin daughters with another ex before they started dating, and accused her of blackmailing him into staying with her. Just hours before she was found dead, Garcia has posted to Instagram talking about a new chapter in her life. Unfortunately, Boateng, of course, was playing with Bayern in the FIFA Club World Cup in Doha, has left the camp and is going to be returning to the German capital, probably to take a bit of time off, understandably, in all this fracas. Let's turn into a bit more football related on pitch news, and let's start from England. It was the FA Cup fifth round of 16, that is, yesterday between Everton and Tottenham was the biggest game in that, of course. But let's go through what happened in that round as well. It was Manchester City defeating Swansea 3-1 in the FA Cup. It was also Sheffield United managing a win 1-0 to go through in that competition to the next round against Bristol City. Everton defeating Tottenham 5-4, of course, and Leicester City managing to defeat Brighton 1-0 with the own goal from Kelechi Iheanacho in the 93rd minute. Of course, the biggest focus in the FA Cup was on Everton versus Tottenham. It was an open game, really, incredibly open, to be fair, 5-4. Tottenham led by Davinson Sanchez in the 3rd minute, Calvert-Lewin with the equaliser in 35 minutes. It was a late rout in the first half by Everton, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison and Sigurdsson from the spot, scoring 3 goals in the last 10 minutes of the first half to give Everton a lead, only for Lamela to sort of make the deficit a little bit more passable with adding a second goal. The third goal coming in from Davinson Sanchez from a set piece in 56 minutes. Richarlison adding the 4th in the 67th before Harry Kane coming in eventually in the game and scoring a goal in the 82nd minute. But the extra time carried on some serious momentum for Everton, as Bernard, from a brilliant finish, made it 5 for Everton. This game could be capital could be really summed up in bad defending versus mad set-piece defending from both sides. Everton with the mad set-piece defending and Tottenham with the bad defending. Overall, Jose Mourinho went down after the game and said he enjoyed the game. Obviously, he's lying. I don't think that Jose Mourinho enjoys a game of this nature anymore, or ever, to be fair. Everybody started remembering his statement about the game where he was coaching Chelsea back in the day, where he faced Arsenal in the round of 16, I think, in the FA Cup or whatever it is, and the score was 5-4 as well, and he was said that this is a hokey score, and a hokey as in the sport, not a hokey as in stupid. He said that, if a game ends with that score, the players should go to their homes because they don't know how to defend. Well, how is your case rested now, Jose Mourinho? Obviously, I mean, he's right, to be fair. The defensive performances from both sides were horrible. But as a neutral, you certainly would love to see it go that way, and you would love to see those twists and turns, and Everton taking the lead, and Tottenham equalising, and Everton again, and it's just amazing how things sometimes pan out in football. Tottenham out of another competition, out of another trophy, they're only left with the Carabao Cup. Who knows by the 25th of April what is going to be happening for them. City look really strong. I don't think that they will let them go easily off the hook, because City are trying to pick momentum as they go, as of late, and of course, there's a game on Sunday between those two sides, and tomorrow we're going to get to that a little bit more. 2 matches left in this FA Cup 5th round, Wolves versus Southampton, and Barnsley versus Chelsea. Both games take place today, on Thursday. From England to Spain, and in the Copa del Rey, the first of 2 semi-finals took place between Sevilla and Barcelona. We reviewed that game, of course, extensively yesterday, and long story short, it was Rakitic doing the damage for Barcelona, scoring the second goal, the winner, from in the 82nd minute, and that, of course, added to the first goal from Jules Koundé, a ridiculous defensive mistake. As well from Barcelona, ridiculous offensive mistakes, really, with S overall in the game, and of course I don't want to go overall with that, but the long story short, Barca had a chance in the first half, Sevilla had a chance in the first half, Sevilla scored. Then Sevilla dominated the first half. Barcelona tried to go back in the second half, thanks to Messi mostly, but Bono was there. And Sevilla, of course, capitalised on the spaces left behind, and the bad defensive positioning from Umtiti and Rakitic made it 2 for Sevilla. He didn't celebrate, but certainly that was a killing blow. And I think, again, I would reiterate that this lead for Sevilla is irredeemable for Barcelona, and it's really, really hard and it's really hard to save that lead and to return from it to a 3-0 at the very least. It looks impossible in this situation. With the injuries, the whole situation of Barcelona, it looks like it's going to be another competition out of their reach, and also you have to look against and also you have to look to the near future, which is the game, of course, against PSG in the Champions League. Barcelona boss Ronald Koeman had admitted, of course, that his side have a lot of work to do, as if it's a surprise, really, that he has a lot of work to do. He knows that, and certainly the second leg is going to be in February 27th. Not second leg, the league game between the two sides is going to be in February 27th. 1 week later, it will be the second leg in Catalonia on the 3rd of March, less than 1 week, really. Before that second leg tie, of course, Barcelona have 5 fixtures to play, including a tie against PSG. He said that, of course, he the usual drill. He complained about a penalty not being given, which I thought, yes, it might be given, but let's look at the bigger picture here. Barcelona were really bad, and I don't think that the penalty is really the turning point of the game, because even before the penalty, Barcelona couldn't score. I mean, if it's going to be going down to Barcelona complaining about a penalty as an excuse for losing, things are really bad. And again, Koeman said that Longley had no physical problems. Why he didn't start with Longley? The gist of it, he admitted that his side has a lot of problems, but still stressed on the fact that they needed a penalty. He was clearly unhappy with it, but he said that there has been a lot of wear and tear. I really don't get the excuse of fatigue. I really don't get it, because you don't play alone on the pitch, right? Sevilla also play fixtures just like you. They play the thin, thick and fast games in the league and the cup. There's Champions League ties well for them against Dortmund. So, this excuse of fatigue is really, really weird and stupid by Koeman. I don't think it still works anymore. I don't believe him, really, and I think, it just doesn't make sense, because the other teams play with you, really. It's not exactly that that the other team are robots or something, or they don't feel fatigue. They feel fatigue. I'm sure that Sevilla have fatigue in themselves, but clearly Barcelona are the only team that gets fatigue in the world, apparently, according to Koeman at least. Speaking of the tie against PSG, and in the French Cup, PSG defeated Caen 1-0. Of course, that is not the story. I'm not covering the French League or the French Cup, to give you football-related things, really. The story is Neymar has been injured again. And I'm going to let that sink in for a while, because it's February, and Neymar gets injured again before a Champions League round of 16 tie. The script sounds so familiar, but seriously, he was hurtling to the ground in the win, of course, against Caen 1-0. He was injured, apparently, allegedly. The 29-year-old was immediately withdrawn from the pitch, of course, writhing around in agony, clutching his knee, but was able to hobble from the field while furiously complaining to the fourth official. Well, that's all Neymar thinks, really. Reports in France claim that Neymar had been, escorted away in the back of a van rather than into the official team coach. The Brazilian exiting the ground and could be seen limping, according to the L'Equipe. Journalist David Aiello reported that Neymar had departed long before his teammates and faces a frantic battle to be fit before the showdown on Tuesday against Barca in the emotional game, really, for him. On February 16th, the exams will be carried out tonight and tomorrow morning, but the entourage of PSG is pessimistic to go against Barca. Nevertheless, at this hour, a faint hope remains. It was added, Neymar, Pochettino said he has no regrets of having chosen to play Neymar. In the aftermath, he was fit to play, and these things can happen. Of course, today seems to be the big day in France, where Neymar is going to be fit for the game in the weekend, of course, for PSG, as well as the game next Tuesday in the Champions League round of 16. Rounding off with some weird, not weird exactly, but some general overall news, quick hits from around the world. Luis Suarez earns €1 million bonus after scoring 15 goals for Atletico Madrid, scintillating start to life at the club already now on 16 goals for the season in 17 league appearances. Contender for the Pichichi, broken the record previously held by Cristiano Ronaldo for reaching that number of goals, the quickest time in La Liga history. And according to Mundo Deportivo, his rich vein of form already seen him earn £875,000 as a bonus, triggering one of the incentivized targets in the contract. Maguire admitted that it is vital for Man United to win their first trophy since 2017, of course, talking about the fact that they still in the FA Cup and the Europa League, of course, talking about the experiences of last season and saying that we demand that we win trophies, and it's vital that the team starts winning trophies for the club and the fans as well. Mauricio Pochettino defends PSG of the pursuit of Lionel Messi, saying that At no time we have shown disrespect. Players can talk, say anything about other players. We have total respect for clubs. Do not make France football. Do not mistake France football or PSG. Koeman was upset from the other side because of that as well. He said it's disrespectful. It's wrong to say such a thing, and only heats up the Champions League game even more. It's not fair. I don't think it's respectful towards Barcelona to talk about a player of ours, and they talk about Leo a lot. He's a Barcelona player, he's a Barcelona legend, and we have the tie to play against them. Officially, the UEFA confirms another change of venue for another match after the Liverpool-Leipzig game in the Champions League, as well as the United-Real Sociedad game in the Europa League. It will be Atletico Madrid versus Chelsea, played in Arena Nacional in Bucharest, the first leg, of course, which is supposed to be played in the Stamford Bridge in Chelsea, in the Wanda Metropolitano, as Atletico Madrid will be hosting this time due to the ongoing, of course, travel restrictions on those arriving from the UK to the country. It's impossible to play in the Spanish capital. Thus, move in the game to the neutral venue that it is. Conte slams Juventus' lack of respect after the Coppa Italia exit. Of course, that stems from a big bust they had with Andrea Agnelli giving him a middle finger, of course, and a lot of bad mouthing between the both of them. Of course, the insulting gestures, the insulting language. Juventus should tell the truth. Conte told Rice said the fourth official heard and saw what happened throughout the game. Should be more polite. They need more sportsmanship and respect for those who work, and I think that's a stupid statement to say, really, because he wasn't respectful himself. Anyway, last but not least, Bayern claim it would be an honour to sign Liverpool's Mo Salah. I don't know why. It came out of nowhere, really. Bayern Munich have revealed a potential interest in signing him after club chief Karl-Heinz Rummenigge admitted it would be an honour to add him, to land him at the Allianz Arena. I don't know why he would think of that, really. But anyway, he has been a huge success at Liverpool since joining in 2017. The club CEO admitted that while there are no plans to launch a bid, the player is certainly under the club's radar after comparing him to modern-day greats. After Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, he said, "At the moment, we don't plan on signing him, but certainly it would be an honour to have him in the club." He said what he achieved as a player can be compared to what Messi and Ronaldo did with Barcelona and Real Madrid. And to end the news section, Sergio Ramos looks increasingly unlikely to stay at Real Madrid after he rejected 2 contract extension offers from Real Madrid. The 34-year-old captain has been at the Bernabeu for over 15 years, is currently injured and rehabbing from a knee injury. Rejected a 2-year contract extension. Real tabled with a 10% salary reduction as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Also rejected a separate proposal for a 1-year contract extension on his existing salary of £10.5 million net. The reports say that he won't be making another offer, Real Madrid that is, and Ramos is set to depart the club this summer when his contract runs down. Of course, he's rehabilitating from a knee issue and hasn't been playing since the semi-final of Supercopa against Athletic Bilbao back in January 14th. Almost 1 month to the day. He's expected to return to the side in April with what now seems to be a farewell appearances, really, but without supporters in attendance. Reports from Spain say that Real Madrid are expected to bring Alaba in the summer, who poised to leave Bayern Munich for nothing when his deal runs down at the end of the season. Also want to renew Rafael Varane's contract, but will go into the market for another central defender if that isn't possible. Zinedine Zidane currently second in the Liga table following their 2-0 win over Getafe and looking really decent at the moment, but of course the exit for Sergio Ramos and the lack of a leader like him in the defence is going to be really bad for Real Madrid. It's Thursday, so you don't know what that means, obviously. It means, for me at least, it is the final of the FIFA Club World Cup between Bayern Munich and Tigres Unal, the CONCACAF champions, who of course, managed a historic feat of being the first CONCACAF side of going to the FIFA Club World Cup. But certainly, I'm not here to talk about Tigres Unal. I am talking about Bayern Munich here, and we'll try and get a little bit of discussion of what is going on in that game and how this game really could be Could be some sort of or this competition as a whole in these both games that they played. I didn't have a chance to talk about the game against Al Ahly from in the semi-final, so I'll try and give some quick thoughts of that. It was a decent game for Bayern. I think not exactly the route that some people expected. I mean, I'm African and I know exactly how that goes, but overall, Bayern, I think, they're coming in knowing that they are super favourites to win the trophy, and they will try just to rest the players, just some rotation maybe, although they started with the first team, which shows that they are serious about the competition. They should be serious about Tigre Sonal as well. They put on a great performance against Palmeiras. They had a defensive, terrific performance against them, and they just bounced on them against Andre Pierre Gignac, who is still playing, apparently, Andre Pierre Gignac, of course. This game now, I think, it is at the most importance for Bayern, in that is, of course, one, a trophy that Bayern would win, and that would mean that is the 6th for the last season. For Bayern, a feat that was only achieved by Barcelona last time in 2009 in the heydays and the peak of the Guardiola era. So that is a personal achievement for Bayern, that will, never be topped by a German club, obviously. And if any German club is going to be to repeat it, is going to be Bayern. The second, of course, it will be, I think, a little bit of a push in the momentum of Bayern, because they have been declining for a couple of months now, and that decline didn't exactly cost them a lot of things. I mean, yes, they're out of the cup. You could point out their form in the league hasn't been exactly scintillating. They're still top of the table with 7 points. All right, so you could still say that that they're really they're really trying to get stronger ahead of the business end of the season and the Champions League. So this competition, the FIFA Club World Cup, at the moment, with its current format, which probably will be the last edition with the current format this season, starting from next year, apparently it will be the new format of the 24 sort of club. It will be 4 years and what have you. They're planning to do it in 2023, I think, not next year, with the 24 teams, as you mentioned. The new format with 3 teams from Africa and 9 teams from Europe and whatever number from Asia, 6 from Asia, I think, accordingly. And this competition is going to be some serious thing when the next edition rolls around, because there will be a lot of clubs, there will be some group stages, and there will be a whole system of elimination. And I think it will be a little bit more fair to the other sides than the European and the South American sides, who get straight away into the semi-final of that competition usually. So Bayern Munich could benefit a lot from this competition on a number of occasions. Obviously, a change in the scenery, and I mean it in the literal form, because going to Qatar, where they usually go for their training camps and pre-season preparation, is decent. And in this time of year, where it's pretty cold in Germany, they get a little bit of a warm weather. They change that, they try and get their mentalities off to a good start in this competition, and win a trophy and go home and think about the rest of the season. Also, this competition can work on a number of levels to, maybe re-establish the confidence of some players, because, to be fair, some players in Bayern have been lacking a bit of momentum. Alphonso Davies, for example, hasn't been himself this season. Benjamin Pavard as well. Serge Gnabry has been dipping and flipping and dipping up and down this season. Hasn't been having a consistent performance yet. Leroy Sané, although improving, but still has a couple of work to do. Lewandowski is Lewandowski. I mean, I'm not going to be debating him. He scored the brace against Al Ahly, although some of the easiest goals he's ever gotten in his career, scored harder than those, obviously. So Bayern really can, take advantage of this competition on a whole lot of levels. But most importantly, I think it would be mentally for them. It would be the fact that they would just get their minds off the pressure of the Bundesliga, off the pressure of thinking about the Champions League, have a couple of good games, win a trophy, go home, and think about what's happening next. Is it fatigue? Yes, but, Is it a trophy to win? Yes, as well. So, and it counts in the 6-2 pool, and it will be, more silverware to what surely will be the Bundesliga title later on in the season, and you could still go for a Champions League, for the glory in the Champions League later on, and the tie against Lazio as not easy, but as favourable as it looks for them, it is not easy at all, and Lazio are not going to be pushovers. They're not going to let you walk in the park just like that. The first game is going to be in Italy, so Bayern need to be careful, not to expose themselves too much, because things are still happening, and with no fans in attendance, it's not going to make a difference whether you're at home or away. It's just, just procedures of home and away advantage and what have you, but seriously, this game is going to be not easy for Bayern to deal with. So in that regard, they need to, take this competition as a sort of the calm before the storm. And the storm is coming because they still have some big games in the league. They still have a Classic Air. They still have the return against Mönchengladbach. A little bit of revenge. I won that personally, at least. Of course, the games against Lazio in the Champions League. And assuming that they go through against Lazio, which is very likely, they will obviously have harder games in the quarter-final. Potentially, you could face Man City, you could face PSG, a repeat of the final of last season. You could face Manchester City, and in their current form, I'm really, really worried about them. Atletico Madrid as well. You could still face them back in that round of in the quarter-final. So the options are there. Bayern Munich need to take this competition, the FIFA Club World Cup, as a good station, a sort of a pause, not in the meaning that to underrate it or underrate the clubs in it, really, because they're not, but just take it as a station to think about what's going next, like plotting the next moves, that is, making it interesting for whoever watching you, that to see that, yes, Bayern are ready to go through, and I think with playing the first team against Al Ahly, albeit people expected some sort of second team, but they didn't, which was very respectful, I think, for Al Ahly. The score was flattering, really, 2-0. Bayern, again, if they take this competition in the wrong way, obviously, an important point, do not underestimate Tigres Uno, because they could have a terrific defensive performance just like they did against Palmeiras, and they could bounce on the counter, and Gignac is just a wily old fox, isn't he? Yes, he scored from the spot, but he's an experienced player, he's a veteran, he has a lot of potential. The guy went from being in the 2012 squad for France in the Euros to whatever happening to him now. At certain points of his life, he looked like he will be the number one striker for France, over Benzema and over Giroud. But now, things went on to a different way 10 years later, or 9 years later, apparently. Now, again, never underestimate Tigres. The game is not going to be easy. It is favourable, yes, but it's not going to be easy. So Bayern should really take the game very seriously, and take the competition very seriously, win the trophy, and go home, think and plot your next move. Obviously, this couple of games, as I mentioned, good for some morale of players to get a little bit of form back, hitting the cylinders running, and of course, the next week, it will be the week after, it will be the game against Lazio, and the games in the league are coming thick and fast as well, so Bayern need to take this as a good pause and a good station before plotting on what is next in their season. That's it for me, that's it for this episode. I was your boy, the HOD of the BSB. Like, share, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel, enable notifications to receive all the updates, do all the YouTube stuff, really. Leave a like, mostly. Follow us on social media, sign PSP on Twitter, BitchSidePod on Instagram, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other podcast listening platform to listen on, and I was your boy, the HOD of the BSB. Until next time, I'll see you soon.